When you play your Nintendo Switch, do you prefer to play in dock mode or handheld mode? For me, I prefer playing in dock mode, just I don't like playing the Switch and handheld modes. I've talked about how I'm not a huge fan of the Joy-Cons. I think the buttons are small. I don't like the analog sticks on here. Overall, this is just not my preferred way to play. Well, the team over at Dobe have sent us something that may change our mind on this. This is the Eggshell controller designed for the Switch and the Switch OLED. This is my original Switch here, Switch OLED back behind us. And it's designed to give you a whole new grip on your Nintendo Switch or your Switch OLED. Now, we've reviewed an older version of this, which I will have linked for you right up there. We are going to compare this a little bit to that unit here in a few minutes. But what we're going to do, we're going to unbox this, we're going to test it out, we're going to see how it plays. Let's get started. So here we have the Dobe Eggshell controller, and as you can see right here, it is designed for the NS OLED, Nintendo Switch OLED. Custom buttons on here, built-in 6-axis gyro, support bracket, double motor vibration, and PD fast charging. So first things first, this does not have a battery built into it. Nothing really on those sides there. Have a look, they have an Animal Crossing variant, and then here you can see there's a white version as well. Again, custom buttons, built-in 6-axis gyro, support bracket, double motor vibration, PD fast charge. The plug-in controller is dedicated for the Nintendo Switch console. After the game controller is inserted, the controller will be connected automatically and successfully. It is a must-have for game players. So let's go ahead, let's open this up. It does have a little slip sheet manual here, which is taped down really well. Come on, you. Yeah, it tore off part of the manual there, so all right, let's take a look here. Let's see, walks you through the left 3D stick button, custom button, screenshot button. Yeah, this manual could use some help, I will say that. Function name, connecting mode, 6-axis width. Yeah, there's really not a whole lot here in the manual, I'll say that much. Now, overall, let's take a look. Feels very similar to their previous one, which we'll show you here in just a minute, compare it to. And then here's a couple of neat things about it, is the fact it does have storage for 4 different cartridges for you there. And then here's the stand. It's actually really nice. That works really well. Now, in comparison, I actually have their previous generation grip here. So let's take a look at this in comparison. So different color to start with, that's the obvious thing. 2 buttons here. Looks like there's a settings button along with the capture button there. This just has the capture button down there. Home and turbo. That is just the home button there. And then you do have your plus and minus on top. I'm going to just use the kickstand. Why not, right? No built-in kickstand here. Does have back buttons on the previous version. They look to be slightly relocated higher on the original, or on the new one over the original. These are further down. And above and beyond that, this has, again, your cartridge storage where this does not. Also looks like these grips are a little smaller. I thought these were kind of big. So, and I am not a fan, for example, of like the Split Pad Pro. I just don't like the feel of that. These to me do feel better, and I'll tell you, where the back buttons land is right where my middle finger and index finger, my ring finger, would be. Sufficiently clicky. The sticks feel small, I will say that. Now on this one, I think you could actually swap out you could swap out the caps on here, and that is not an option on the new one, so something to note. Now let's grab our original Switch, and we have both the Switch and the Switch OLED that we are going to test out with, so we're going to slide off the Joy-Cons here. And slide that down into position. Now we are paired up. Let's go ahead, I'm going to douse the lights, and let's do a little bit of real quick gameplay. If you've watched the channel for any amount of time, seen any of my controller reviews, one of the first games I always go to is Street Fighter, simply because it's a good test of both the analog stick and the D-pad. Feels comfortable, I'll say that much. Ryu versus Ken. Should be a good match. Ooh, got him. So far, so good. Oh, he got me. Cannot pull off the dragon uppercut, I'll say that much. Oh, got him. All right, so that was with the analog stick. Let's try the D-pad now. Okay, I can pull it off with the D-pad more. Yeah, I can pull off all the moves with the D-pad, not as much with the analog stick. I can roll the analog stick better than I can the D-pad, so for the kicks, for the spinning side kick, for example, I can do that much easier with the analog stick. And the Hadouken is also easier with the analog stick, too. This is Horizon Chase Turbo, one of my favorite racing games on the Switch. And here we've actually downloaded the DLC for the Ayrton Senna career mode. So it's basically F1 cars. Rumble and everything feels good. Maybe a little bit weak, I would say. Compared to a standard Joy-Con, it's not as strong as a Joy-Con. You know what? No, I'd say it's as strong as a Joy-Con, but not as strong as a Pro controller. Ooh, nice split the difference there. Yeah, everything is feeling really good on this. Definitely doesn't need the precision as like a Street Fighter does to pull off moves. So at this point, I'm pretty happy with how it's performing on my original Switch. Let's switch, no pun intended, to the Switch OLED. So let's take a look real quick, too, at how well it holds a cartridge. So I've got a couple here. Kind of a tight fit. It's just relying, there's like a rubberized material here for the cartridge to ride against, essentially, to hold it in place. I mean, they're not going to go anywhere, but I kind of wish that they were spring-loaded. Same basic thing here, too. We're just going to pop out one Joy-Con and the other. Slide the OLED into place. Now, I will say this is a slightly firmer fit than the previous on the original Switch, but it's still plugged in just fine. Same thing, we're going to douse the lights, play some games. So one of the tests I like to do on, anything that's got a turbo button is I'm going to try that out with Star Fox for the Super Nintendo and see how well that works. So we are doing AutoFire here. As you can see, my hand is not on the right-hand side at all. And again, AutoFire, you can see, is working. I'm using the analog stick now instead of the D-pad. Just where my hand tends to fall into place, the D-pad is not as comfortable for me as the analog stick is. Twin blasters. Yeah, this is controlling beautifully. I've now gone ahead and turned the turbo off. This is working well for last gen, well, way last gen, at least for the analog stick, for the buttons, for the D-pad. Let's check one game that we just recently got and tested out. We are going to check out AEW Fight Forever. So we have Adam Cole versus Hangman Adam Page here. Let's see who the best Adam is. Oh, powerbomb from the Cowboy into the ropes. Back body drop. Ooh, rest, hold, rest, hold. Oh no, are we going to get... Oh, I thought we were going to get an electric chair for a minute there. Oh, with the super kick. Irish whip into the ropes. Back body drop. Oh, trying to rearrange his features right there. Here he comes at this finisher. With the 1, 2, 3. This is the greatest night in the history of this great sport. So in the end, what do I think of the Dobe Eggshell controller? Well, first and foremost, this is a nice update from their original one. It adds some very nice features, such as the redesign on the grips that are much more comfortable. The back buttons are in a much better place on here. The fact you do have the turbo functionality. These are all great quality of life improvements on this versus the previous generation. One thing I didn't realize until after I was done filming was there is no pass-through USB-C cable on the bottom, or USB-C port. So you can't charge while using this grip. There is no onboard battery on here. So the only thing you can do is rely on a battery on your Nintendo Switch. And if it happens to die, you can't connect the charge to play. So for some people, that may be a bit of a detractor from this. Like I mentioned, this is a much more comfortable grip than their previous generation, better than the split pad as well. I like the fact that it does accommodate both the original Switch and the Switch OLED. My original Switch is in the dock right now. This is my Switch OLED. Analog sticks felt good. It was interesting the fact that I could roll the D-pad better in Street Fighter for things like the Hadoken and the spinning sidekick, but for the Dragon Uppercut, couldn't do that as easily on the analog stick as I could on the D-pad. So that is interesting to note. I thought the buttons were nice size. They were larger than what you would get on a Joy-Con. Overall, not a bad little grip here. Something you should definitely consider if you are looking for a grip for the Switch or the Switch OLED. Now, I will have a link down below in a pinned comment. If you do want to check one of these out for yourself, it takes you to our Amazon affiliate store. If you purchase something through there, it actually does help support the channel. So I would appreciate, if you're going to pick one up, that you would go ahead and do that. I do want to thank Dope for sending us one of these to check out as well. They don't review any of the content before it goes live. It's just nice to have those partners that we can go ahead and work with. Now, if you do want to check out some of the other videos that we've done, like the review of their original grip, I'll have a link for you right here where you can go ahead, check it out and see if this is better for you or if that would be a better option for you.